So I'm gonna try and make a few videos today because I've been kind of slacking lately. I haven't been on for I think almost 2 weeks. I haven't made a video in about 2 weeks. Mostly because honestly I've been able to find my AirPods. That's usually what I use because I can't really afford a nice mic and camera. So I've been trying to use my AirPods, and I decided, well, I have these kind of older wired ones, so why not just use these instead? But first video I'm gonna talk about is that, as you all, many of you probably know, I am a really big fan of Noam Chomsky. As he's gotten older, his some of his arguments have gotten a little bit lazier than what younger Chomsky would have said or younger Chomsky would have done. Um, but I think that Chomsky is probably still the most important intellectual of our time, if not the last 100 years, I would argue. And he made a comment to the Washington Post and New York Times that he said that, as we would have guessed, Biden's foreign policy is indistinguishable from Trump's. And this is probably obvious, being that he's quite a war hawk, Biden is, and so is Trump. A lot of people say that, they give props to Trump for not starting a new war. But if you really think about it, if you're increasing, Trump increased the war in Africa, the shadow war in Africa by over 1,000%, and he increased Obama's drone strike war by 400% in the first 2 years. And then after the first 2 years, after there was massive amounts of civilian casualties, which were a 9 and 10 kill ratio, 9 civilians to 10 total. So out of every 10 kills they had from a drone strike, 9 of them were civilians, and he was doing more than 3 a day. That's actually a very low estimate. I think they were doing close to 40 a day. So in the last 4 decades, they have been. But after his second year in office, he made it illegal to, and passed a bill where they can't show civilian casualties during drone strikes and bombings. And Biden's upholding that as well. And Biden's doing the same thing Trump's doing. Biden's only been in office 3 months now, so we haven't seen the full capability of his hawkishness. But the way he's been treating Syria is kind of the same way Trump has been, which is very aggressive. And, and therefore, as Trump said, the oil. Biden is everything we expected him to be when it came to, he had these nice words, old Uncle Joe, that a lot of the liberal suburban whites liked about him. And I'll even say myself, I did vote for Biden, and I regret it almost immediately. He would have won California with or without my vote. My vote wouldn't have mattered. But it's the fact that I have to morally think that my vote was one more vote that helped him get in there. And I regret that. Because even I thought, casting my vote, I was like, we aren't going to be able to push this motherfucker left. If we were able to push him left 50 years before he got into 50 years he's been in politics, what makes him think we'll do it now, He's not going to go any farther left. The progressives and the squad and AOC, they all need to realize he's not going to be pushed any farther left. You can't reason with a guy like that. You can't reason with somebody like Trump. You can't reason with these old white men, old people, for example. These old dudes that are stuck in their ways. They're stuck in doing the old, corporate bidding. The old bumping elbows, rubbing shoulders with the aristocracy type of politician. And I think we won't be able to push him left, but you need to put pressure on Joe Biden so he cannot have a second term in office. With that being said, if it comes down to him or Trump, I'm not voting. I'm going to refuse to vote because I don't want to put my moral conscience on that. My vote helped lead to already thousands of deaths in Syria, probably an unknown number of deaths in Africa because of the shadow war going on there. And now he's threatening not even to waive a patent for COVID vaccine, which will be another video I'll probably make here later on after I'm on my lunch right now. But it's just disheartening that we just get copycat politicians in office. Only difference between Trump and Joe is that Joe just says nice things. That's about it. That's to the extent of how they're different. Trump just kind of shoots from the hip, and Joe just kind of, what? you know, fucking dementia-ridden old fuck. So we will see how the rest of this year goes, and I don't expect it to be much better. I mean, hell, the White House is asking for the Bolivian former president who ran the coup in 2019 to be released after they led to the slaughtering and killings of thousands of indigenous Bolivians. And, you know, they demonize Bolivian indigenous people as savages and people that hate democracy and things like that. They're just as brainwashed as, you know, a lot of the people that are, you'd say, are racist or Trump supporters. But, you know, it's typical America. And we support dictators. We support undemocratic institutions. So we'll see how this goes. But Chomsky's right. Chomsky's right on the nose. Biden's foreign policy is indistinguishable from Trump. He's just as hawkish on Iran. He hasn't really said much about North Korea yet, but I wouldn't doubt that he's going to put pressure on him, which is different than what Trump did. But apart from North Korea, their approach to China, exactly the same. Approach to Russia, exactly the same. So we'll see. We will see how it all goes, and I look forward to putting this video out, and I'll try and put out a few more. So after this, when I get home. So catch you guys later.